Encampment concerns at the center of a rally at Civic Square. What the city wants residents to report as winter approaches. Concerns in the classroom, the support some parents say is no longer available for kids with complex needs. And why some are worried about the unethical hunting in Saskatchewan.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight at Civic Square, where people rallied in support of the homeless with a call for the city to do more, including allowing encampments. But as Keenan Sorokon reports, the city says it can't have people living on the streets across the city.
More than 24 people were out in the cold rallying at Civic Square, saying the city needs to create designated encampment areas, which the city quickly rejected.
If somebody had the recipe and it was successful, we would definitely have duplicated it here.
Vaughn Raymer with the fire department says the safety risks pile up as encampments grow larger, forcing the city to intervene.
Disease outbreak, overdoses, the fires. There's actually a lot of violence, human trafficking. They can turn very unsafe.
Those rallying at City Hall say being displaced is also unsafe.
If they won't allow it, then we may as well start counting the people that we're going to lose.
Raymer says large encampments get infiltrated by gang activity and also cost taxpayers in the end. She's spoken with counterparts in other cities who have designated areas. Halifax recently spent $1 million on an encampment cleanup, which is how much the fire department here has spent responding to encampments the last 3 years. LaPlante says then make a series of designated areas instead of a centralized location.
Small encampments all over the place in designated areas. That way they can't get overflown and things to happen.
90 encampment fires have been reported the last 2 months, and Raymer says the backlog is growing, with crews taking a week to respond to the latest calls. But they're encouraging people to keep calling them in so homeless people can be connected to supports and cleanup can begin. That frustrated homeless advocates.
That is stupid. They're displacing those people.
Raymer says the province is ultimately responsible for social services and addressing homelessness, and the city is devoting more resources to the file every year.
We have not seen a downward trend. We have seen nothing but an upward trend.
Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A second person has been charged in connection to the homicide of a man whose remains were found just west of Saskatoon over the summer. It comes as another person charged in the death appeared in court today. 30-year-old Gage Almer Bustler was before the courts this morning, charged with first-degree murder, aggravated assault, and kidnapping in the death of 31-year-old Chad Romansky. Romansky's remains were found near Highway 7 in June. Today, police arrested a 39-year-old man in Romansky's death and also charged him with first-degree murder, kidnapping, assaults with a weapon, as well as a string of gun-related offenses. An investigator says police used some out-of-the-box techniques to move this case forward.
What I can say is that this was a very complex investigation. Any creativity of the minds of my colleagues, our service supported 100%, and I'm proud of the work that was done.
Almer Bustler says he plans on hiring his own lawyer. He is scheduled to be back in court on Tuesday. The 39-year-old man charged today is scheduled to be in court tomorrow morning. One of 8 people charged in the death of a Saskatoon man is facing an upgraded charge. Nikita Tatusis is now facing first-degree murder in the homicide of Tim Tatusis. She was originally charged with manslaughter. Tim Tatusis was found dead on December 18th of last year. Police discovered his body while executing a search warrant at a home in the 1700 block of 22nd Street West. Prince Albert police have charged a man in connection with the homicide that happened in the summer. The body of 39-year-old Wayne Keller was found in the 1500 block of 5th Avenue East on July 29th. On Monday, 26-year-old William Hunt Charles was arrested at the Prince Albert Correctional Center, where he was in custody on unrelated charges. Hunt Charles is charged with second-degree murder in Keller's death. He is also charged with possessing a firearm while prohibited and possessing ammunition while prohibited. Police do not expect to charge anyone else in the case. A boy charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder related to a quadruple homicide on a Saskatchewan First Nation was before the courts today. His identity cannot be revealed under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. He is charged in the deaths of 4 people on the Carry the Kettle First Nation in February. Darius Brissett is also facing first-degree murder charges in the deaths. The boy's next provincial court date is December 11th. Parents of complex needs children are calling attention to a lack of supports in schools. As Hallie Mandrick reports, some say their kids haven't been able to have a regular school schedule because of it.
Erin Gerwing is home with her son, Luca, when she would typically be at work. Luca, who has autism, has been placed on a modified schedule due to a lack of full-time educational assistance at his school.
Many families are finding it impossible to have full-time jobs because somebody has to be on constant call. Somebody has to be able to go to the school on a moment's notice.
She's not the only one facing this issue. Rochelle Young says her son's EA support was recently taken away, forcing the second grader with autism to also shift to a modified schedule.
That month, as you can imagine, was incredibly stressful for us as we did not have any childcare lined up for our child. I cried a lot of tears, and I was incredibly angry that my child was being treated so unfairly because of a funding issue.
The Saskatchewan Teachers Federation says a lack of funding for educational assistance is causing significant strain on both teachers and students. And while the STF says recent changes to federal programs for some students have contributed to the issue, education falls under the jurisdiction of the province.
Ultimately, this is still the responsibility of the provincial government. We need to continue to see those improvements in funding, and last year was really encouraging to see that improvement in our per-student funding.
In a statement to CTV, the province says education is set to receive an increase of $186.4 million in the 2025-26 school year operating fund, adding, quote, "Our government is working to ease the pressure and complexities in Saskatchewan classrooms through initiatives like the expansion of the specialized support classrooms to an additional 50 classrooms this year and funding for additional classroom complexity teachers through the recent collective bargaining agreement. For parents like Rochelle Young and Erin Gerwing, that can't come soon enough."
And imagine being overwhelmed to the point of panic and being told there was nowhere for you to go, no one for you to turn to, and to try harder.
They both want the necessary supports for both teachers and children and will continue to advocate for that until it happens. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
There was controversy in the legislature today over MLA attendance. It began with the NDP criticizing the Sask Power Minister for missing a meeting. The government was quick to point a finger at the NDP leader's attendance record this session. Wayne Mantika reports.
The opposition was upset that Sask Power Minister Jeremy Harrison didn't attend a committee meeting at the legislature this week where Sask Power funding was discussed.
Last night, the minister responsible, Jeremy Harrison, and his officials failed to attend a scheduled Crown and Central Agencies committee meeting. Now, let's be clear. The government picks the time of this meeting. They pick the day.
Harrison said he wasn't there because it wasn't necessary.
I think it's really important that people recognize what was going on here.
Harrison then questioned the whereabouts of the opposition leader.
I haven't got one question about it from the opposition, from the leader of the opposition, who has showed up 8 days of the last 23. I could only imagine the questions the Premier would be getting standing here from you if he had missed if he was only here for 8 of 23 days. I can only imagine the questions you guys would be asking him.
The NDP said its leader has been home with the flu for the past few days and challenged the accuracy of the government's attendance record keeping.
Yeah, I don't think those numbers are accurate, but I wouldn't have the attendance forms for the leader. Again, it's important work for all of us, especially as the leader of the opposition, to be on the road, meeting with stakeholders.
MLAs are docked pay for each day that they fail to appear in the legislature. It is acceptable to be away on business or for personal health reasons, so it's rare that anyone loses pay. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The province is creating a new law that will allow residents to sue drug traffickers. The Response to Illicit Drugs Act creates a right for the province and people harmed by drug offenders to pursue civil legal action and recover costs associated with illegal drug trafficking and production. The new legislation follows an increase to the maximum fine for certain drug trafficking offenses to $1 million earlier this year. The Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation says it has received dozens of complaints about unethical hunting in recent weeks. As CTV's Stacey Hine tells us, it comes after an extra elk hunt that was faced with controversy wraps up. And a note, some viewers might find some of the images in this story difficult to watch.
These photos posted to social media show 2 elk shot and left in the Spiritwood area. Sask Tip says conservation officers believe the shooter fired into a herd and may not have realized they killed multiple animals. The Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation says shooting and abandoning an animal is unacceptable.
We would argue in that case you're into poaching case and not a hunting case. We class that as waste of game. So unacceptable both from a legal and ethical point of view.
During the antlerless elk hunt, which ran from November 23rd to the 27th in the southern half of the province, the Wildlife Federation says it received roughly 20 complaints per day about animals being shot and left. Executive Director Todd Smith believes some hunters may not have been familiar with regulations and calls the situation concerning.
It's a waste of our resources. The resources in the province belong to all the citizens of the province. So not only potentially for recruitment later on for future wildlife populations, but also the meat and the resource going to waste is a large concern for us.
In a statement to CTV News, the Ministry of Environment says the antlerless hunt was introduced to address crop and property damage caused by high elk numbers. Now that the hunt has wrapped up, the ministry says harvest surveys will help assess harvest levels and landowner access and will guide future wildlife management plans. It adds conservation officers continue enforcement throughout the season and will respond to violations as needed. Smith says he understands landowners' concerns, but believes the hunt should have been designed differently and says Saskatchewan needs ethical, science-driven management to ensure wildlife is harvested responsibly and sustainably. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The NDP has joined a group of farmers calling on the government to crack down on illegal drainage. NDP MLA Erica Ritchie criticized the government, saying the Sask Party overstates the amount of Saskatchewan wetlands and enables drainage without recourse for landowners. Agriculture Minister Daryl Harrison defended the policy, saying it involved more than 80 stakeholder groups and balances resiliency with economic growth. Producers from the Yorkton area say the Water Security Agency allows widespread illegal wetland destruction. They added that the WSA doesn't require monitoring or water quality standards for drainage projects.
But today, these agencies are being used to drain large areas of the province in order to increase cultivation for some farmers and bring illegally drained wetlands into compliance. This is not why these policies were created.
CTV reached out to the WSA for comment but did not hear back before broadcast. Prince Albert National Park is open for its 10th annual Christmas tree harvest. Jasmine Pelche reports on how visitors can find a tree and how to care for it once it's indoors.
If you're looking for a Christmas tree, Prince Albert National Park might be a great place to start. Visitors to Prince Albert National Park will have until December 23rd to harvest a Christmas tree from the community fuel break surrounding Waskesiu. The park says the harvest helps reduce the number of flammable trees.
Having those trees thinned out would slow the speed of an approaching wildfire and help give time for the community to prepare.
Visitors to this year's harvest will need to pick up Christmas tree activity passes and a map at the visitor center before chopping down their tree.
Chainsaws are not permitted, so bring a handsaw with you. Make sure that you dress in warm layers, so bring your mittens, bring your toque. You can bring a sled if you'd like to haul your tree away.
The park says around 160 visitors participated in last year's harvest. Christmas tree expert Ray Gaudette says it's important to get a live tree in water before the green membrane under the bark dries up.
Allow it to open up, and an hour and a half or 2 hours later, then what you would like to do is fill your stand with hot tap water, and what you're going to do is you're going to stimulate that membrane.
He says that tree owners should make sure the base of the tree has a fresh cut before it's brought indoors. Visitors to Prince Albert National Park will have to purchase a park pass until the free entry Canada Strong Pass comes back into effect December 12th. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
The City of Saskatoon's new compost processing plant will cost more than originally expected, but federal money is expected to help offset that increase. The new plant was supposed to cost $22.1 million, but higher than anticipated bids from contractors, along with federal funding stipulations, have increased the estimated cost to $30.5 million. Ottawa is committing $8.4 million on the condition that the project uses green technology like electric trucks and low-carbon concrete. The city says it will save $1 million every year on operating costs. The city is borrowing money to pay for the facility, but utility fees will pay it back over 20 years. A programming note to tell you about. CTV News at 6 will be preempted tomorrow evening for NFL football, but we will bring you all the day's local news an hour earlier with a half-hour show starting at 5 p.m. We hope to see you then. And a quick reminder, the deadline to nominate someone for the Citizen of the Year award is just days away. Nomination guides are available here at CTV Saskatoon, or you can head to our website. The deadline to submit your nomination is Friday, December 5th, and we will announce this year's recipient on December 31st. Still to come, Jeff visits with Santa at the Enchanted Forest. Also, why travelers planning to fly over the holidays could hit turbulence. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Canadians who are planning to fly over the holidays could face some turbulence. 99% of unionized Air Transat pilots have voted to strike, and the flight cancellations could start soon. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the latest.
In exactly 1 week's time, Air Transat could be forced to start grounding flights, as its roughly 700 unionized pilots will be in a position to strike.
A December strike will be catastrophic because capacity is already saturated. Other airlines like Air Canada and WestJet are flying full plane for the holidays.
The threat during the busiest travel time of the year comes nearly a year after talks between the union and airline began. The pilots want pay raises and better job security and say they're tired of working under a contract signed 10 years ago. In a statement, the union says, "Let us be clear, we do not want to strike. However, after nearly a year of slow bargaining and little progress, we urge management to utilize the remaining time and negotiate seriously to avoid operational and flight disruptions."
If anyone knows labor negotiations, I do, and I know that there's a pattern here, and we obviously hope they get a deal.
The airline is confident a deal can be found, saying in a statement, "Although this is a common step in the collective bargaining process and does not mean that a strike will be initiated, we remain fully committed at the bargaining table and aim to reach a tentative agreement without labor dispute." Aviation analysts say the prospect of a Christmas slowdown puts pressure on a company already facing financial troubles.
I don't think Transat's in a position right now of being able to accept a financially disruptive situation like a strike, so they will settle.
Air Transat says its operations are currently running as normal. Either side must give 72 hours notice of a strike or a lockout. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. tariffs have forced layoffs, creating tough days ahead for Algoma Steel and the city of Sault Ste. Marie. Just across the border is Twin City, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, a place that prides itself on having a bond with its northern neighbor that transcends politics. Heather Wright is looking at whether that city is also feeling the pain.
The Sault Ste. Marie International Bridge spans 4.5 kilometers, connecting the two Saults on either side of the St. Mary's River. Two cities, two countries facing similar challenges.
Definitely, there's been a pinch.
Jennifer Riatoir owns The Mole Hole, a shop that caters to both locals and visitors, though fewer Canadians are stopping by these days.
I'm sure the tariffs did not help, but I did already notice a drop because of the exchange rate.
Riatoir has been in business for more than a decade, but in the last year, she's watched as her margins have been squeezed thanks to tariffs.
Some of our vendors do try as well to absorb it for a while, but ultimately they pass it on to us. We absorb what we can, but we also can't absorb everything. There's just not enough room for it, and so everybody pays for tariffs.
While tariffs are most acutely felt on imported hard goods, prices have also risen at the grocery store.
Everything is going higher, and
we're doing okay, but I think there's a lot of less fortunate people that have to really struggle, and I don't know how they make ends meet.
It's a struggle Dan Trevisanute is trying to help with. He's a barber in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and is offering discounted pricing to all Algoma employees as his way to give back.
It's the least I can do. And a little bit of affordability to offer these people dignity, because they'll be looking for jobs, and there'll be a lot of people just going to be in a bad way.
An increase in social service needs was expected here in Sault Ste. Marie before the layoffs, a need that is only expected to grow now. Heather Wright, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Despite Donald Trump's push to buy American, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, is set to spend millions of dollars on a fleet of armored vehicles made by a Canadian defense manufacturer. The rush order came in late last month and is worth the equivalent of $10 million Canadian. Rachel Aiello has been digging into the contract and the details.
20 armored vehicles made by Brampton-based defense manufacturer Rochelle are set to be delivered to U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents before the end of the year. The rush order from ICE came in late last month and is worth the equivalent of 10 million Canadian dollars. According to U.S. procurement documents, Rochelle is uniquely positioned to fulfill the requirement within the necessary time frame, having confirmed immediate availability of vehicles that fully meet ICE specifications.
The government is not involved in the transaction.
The department enacting U.S. administration's mass deportations has been accused of abusing human rights. Asked if the Canadian government had any concerns about the contract in light of this, the foreign minister wouldn't say.
We have not received any questions or permit requests regarding this transaction, and I will continue to reiterate that Canada and the United States have a strong bilateral relationship with an open line of communication in which, if necessary, I will raise the issues with Secretary Rubio.
Rochelle's Made in Canada armored vehicles have been sent to the front lines in Ukraine, though the company also set up shop south of the border last year, ahead of U.S. President Donald Trump enacting his Buy American agenda. Rochelle did not respond to questions by our deadline about where the armored vehicles ICE ordered are originating. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Police have charged a town official in Ontario with uttering death threats after she was allegedly caught up in a lie. Clarington councillor Karina Trail originally claimed a menacing voicemail against a future mayoral candidate was an AI fake. Adrian Gobriel has that story.
It's an eye-opening story that CTV News has been covering for months. A local councillor here in Clarington, Ontario, just east of Toronto, Karina Trail, has been charged with uttering threats. Former police officer Tom Dingwall has been eyeing a run to become the mayor of Clarington. In August, he received a disturbing voicemail allegedly from Councillor Trail. He claims the woman's voice warned him to stay out of next year's election, or else she would come to his house and kill him and sexually assault his wife. The voice also said that Dingwall should support a rival candidate. Dingwall says he received a second voicemail, allegedly from Trail, apologizing for her initial message. However, when the allegations came to light, Councillor Trail publicly claimed that portions of the voicemail were her voice, but other parts were artificially generated with AI.
This threat was an attempt at election interference and an attempt to keep me from running in next year's mayoral election. There's no room for violence or threats of violence in politics. It cannot be overstated the impact that this incident had on my family and in particular my wife.
Each of the voicemails were shared with police, which have led to the current charges. We've reached out to Councillor Trail. We're still awaiting a response. Needless to say, this story is the talk of the town. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Clarington, Ontario.
The death toll in last week's devastating high-rise complex fire in Hong Kong has risen to 159 as mourners continue to gather at the scene.
I think the entire population in Hong Kong would love to have the truth and the justice to be told.
Neighbors laid flowers at the memorial site as police continue to search through the charred buildings. Nearly 30 people remain missing, and recovery efforts could take weeks. 15 people have been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter, and 12 have been arrested in a corruption investigation. Authorities say substandard plastic mesh and insulation foam used during renovation work fueled the rapid spread of the deadly blaze. He made the top 5, but a Saskatchewan contestant on MasterChef Canada is heading home.
Andres, your passion for food and life is pure punk rock.
Regina's Andres Arenada did not make the cut last night. It was a fish-baked dish that brought his run to an end. The Final 4 move on to the next week's MasterChef Canada semi-final. You can see that Tuesday night here on CTV. Well, BHP's Enchanted Forest has a very special visitor tonight. We sent Jeff to go check on things. And Jeff, have you been able to find him yet?
He's just over there. It's not a problem. Yes, Santa is here at the BHP Enchanted Forest, greeting guests as they slide through the beautiful light display here at the Forestry Farm Park in Saskatoon Zoo area. And it's a bit chilly, but we got some very festive and maybe appropriate snowfall right now, snowing right now. So all in all, things are looking pretty good, Chantel. But let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our numbers for today. As you can see, our daytime high, our current temperature, minus 12 degrees, and light snow and winds out of the southeast at 20. Prince Albert, minus 15 with some light snow and southerly winds at 15 clicks, and a similar wind speed and direction in the Battlefords, but minus 10 in the Battlefords, but also dealing with some light snow. Now, taking a look at Saskatoon's almanac, minus 12 is our daytime high, and it might be actually a little warmer in terms of the official high, because these temperatures are expected to go up as we approach midnight. Typically, we should be minus 7 degrees for a daytime high, minus 16 in the overnight. 12 is the record warm temperature from 1941, and minus 32 is the record cold temperature on the 3rd of December, and that was set in 1950. The sun came up at 8:56, and it went down at 4:57.
All right, well, it does look like a chilly night, but I'm sure the lights will keep you warm, and I know you're going to check in with Santa in a few minutes, so we'll come back to you in just a little bit. Also coming up, we meet the second edition of the 12 Strays of Christmas. Stay tuned for that.
Here we go. We have got ourselves some cold conditions tonight, but as we take a look at it, well, I say cold. It's still a little cooler than seasonal, but it's not as cold as it's going to be on Saturday. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And in just a little bit, we'll be talking with Santa, but let's get on with the weather, and we'll take a look at our satellite and radar shot. We're keeping our eye on that nor'easter out on the east coast, and on the west coast, they're getting a bit of a break from the rain, but the rain is going to show up. So if your travel plans take you to Vancouver or southern BC, it's going to be a little soggy for the weekend. Now we'll take a look and see what's going on with our current temperatures. Just to recap, minus 12 in Saskatoon right now, minus 15 in Prince Albert, and minus 10 in the Battlefords. The hot and cold spot in the province, well, it's not here. The hot spot was down south. That was Maple Creek at minus 6 degrees today. The cold spot, cold, minus 36 in Stony Rapids. On to our future cast, and we'll just take a quick look here. Oh, sorry, the current conditions. Minus 8 in Lloydminster, minus 9 in Swift Current, minus 11 in Moose Jaw, minus 13 in Regina, minus 19 in Yorkton, and minus 20 in Estevan. A closer look at central Saskatchewan. As you can see, temperatures ranging from minus 9 in Kindersley down to minus 22 in Hudson Bay, minus 10 in Meadow Lake, and minus 16 in Wynyard. Making our way up north, well, minus 21 in Stony Rapids and Collins Bay. As we make our way southward, it actually gets colder. Look at that. Sandy Bay Island Falls, minus 22 and minus 18 in Key Lake, minus 16 in in La Ronge, and down south, does it warm up all that much? Well, -6 in Maple Creek, but as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures do drop off. -20 in Broadview, -21 in Carlisle, -19 in Melville. Now, we will go on to our future cast, and, or will we? There we go. And the future cast indicating that little pocket of snow that's impacting us right now, that will continue to move into Manitoba and Ontario, and maybe a little something showing up in northwestern Saskatchewan tomorrow night. But for the rest of us, it looks like it's going to be just a cloudy situation. So for tomorrow, -10 degrees in La Ronge, -14 in Stony Rapids with some flurries, -8 in Buffalo Narrows, -13 in Key Lake. Into west central Saskatchewan for Friday, -2 for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, 0 in Kindersley, -1 in Rosetown. Down in the southwestern part of the province, it warms up a little bit more. Look at these temperatures in and around the 0-degree mark, but there is a chance of flurries in Maple Creek, Leader, and Swift Current. In the southeast, mild conditions there as well. -3 degrees in Yorkton, 0 in Regina and Moose Jaw, and -1 in Estevan. And east central Saskatchewan, temperatures are on the mild side as well. -4 in Melfort, -2 in Watrous, -3 in Humboldt, and Hudson Bay, -7 degrees. Now for the overnight temperature and conditions in the Battlefords. Temperatures dropping down to -8 degrees, but those temperatures rising in the overnight period. Tomorrow's high, -1 degree. The wind's backing off, and the 7-day outlook. So embrace tomorrow, because that is the mild one in the next 7 days. Really getting cold on Saturday, dropping down to -21. We get a bit of a break on Tuesday with a high of -7. And 1 week from today, -16 degrees. For the Prince Albert area, temperatures tonight will be dropping down to -17, with still a chance of some flurries, maybe about 2 to 4 centimeters. Cloudy skies on Thursday, -4 degrees, so above seasonable. And then we should take a look at the 7-day outlook, getting really cold on Saturday, and not really bouncing back big time, getting back to seasonal temperatures on Tuesday. For Saskatoon, a similar situation. Temperatures rising as we head into the overnight period, with some of the periods of light snow, maybe 2 to 4 centimeters. And then tomorrow's high, -1 degree, and we're looking at cloudy skies, and the 7-day outlook, not too bad for Saskatoon. If by not too bad, I mean when we get to -7 by next week, but the weekend will be a bit on the cold side, but closer to seasonal on Monday, and then Tuesday, a chance of flurries, and -16 degrees 1 week from today. So some cold temperatures out there. And a guy who knows lots about cold temperatures, it's Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas.
Well, Santa, I tell you, we've got ourselves a cold night, but I guess you're pretty used to that.
Oh, yeah, this is almost like a heat wave for me. This is really good. Thanks for warming it up.
Well, you know,
I see you're crying.
Well, they're tears of joy just to see you, Santa. So Santa Claus, you know, you were here last year. I think you've here many times. Yeah, so you're here waving to the people as they come through, seeing the light show.
Yeah, absolutely. The BHP Enchanted Forest is right through until January the 4th. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We just go full tilt until the 4th.
You go full tilt, and you've got some wonderful music going on here. And I know you got some friends from Frozen here tonight.
Yes, our friends from Frozen. They look frozen, and they are.
I know I am.
Well, I can tell that.
Thank goodness my friend and colleague Dan Shinkus had some hot shots to put in my gloves, so that's great. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, some of the things. You know, what are some of the? Are there any strange requests you're getting from little boys and girls in terms of you know, the toys and things this year?
Well, some of them are back to traditional.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like we have the occasional sled to go down the hill. Well, I'm going, you know, without a motor? What the heck's with that? But you know, kids are computer games are pretty.
Sure.
This babysitter club books. Anyway,
are those still popular?
They're popular.
So I guess so. And speaking of popular, now do you have a song that you love to hear year in and year out when you do these events like this, or maybe throughout the holiday season?
Well, you know, I look at my reindeer team.
Yes.
And I look at them and I say, you know, their theme has got to be Jingle Bells.
It's got to be.
So I can't take a bell from each one of them, and I bring them tonight. Great. So here they are.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Santa, it's always great to visit with you. I know you got people to wave.
What do you want for Christmas, by the way?
What do I want for Christmas? Less stress.
Less stress and more isobars.
Yes, that's right.
Merry Christmas.
Well, something to do with bars, but that's a different thing.
Oh.
All right,
there's a good shot.
We'll send it back to the studio.
All right, thanks, Jeff. We'll let you check where you are on Santa's naughty or nice list, but we'll check in with you in just a few minutes. Still to come on CTV News, on Paw Patrol, the furry friends in need of a forever home.
Say hello to figgy pudding. That's right, figgy pudding and sugar cookie. Yes, Christmas-themed kitty cats for this edition of the 12 Strays of Christmas. We're CTV partners with the Saskatoon SPCA. Jolene and Sheila are with us again today. So let's talk a little bit. Since we met, we already said hello to figgy pudding. Let's say hello to sugar cookie. Sugar cookie is what kind of kitty cat? Do we have a guess?
Well, I'm not sure, Sheila. What kind of kitties are these cuties? They're Siamese mixes.
Okay.
They're about 2 months old. We got a whole litter of them, but we have a couple available tomorrow. These two are available tomorrow. They're just lovely, and they're beautiful. They've got these bright blue eyes, and they're going to be like medium to long coated.
Okay, all right. So they are very attractive kitty cats. Speaking of attractive things, your 50-50 is coming up. What can you tell me about that?
We do. Our 50-50 draw is on December 30th. Last year it raised over $100,000. Right now we're at about $25,000. So
okay, so you can go.
30th.
So December 30th is when we make a draw, and just go to the website for that information.
If you go on to SaskatoonSPCA.com, there's a nice banner at the top that you can just click on and buy your raffle tickets.
Okay. Both of these cats are ready to go. And once again, you can go to the Saskatoon SPCA website for information on these and other critters, as well as some of the fundraising things they've got going on. Thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
12 Strays of Christmas, brought to you in part by Early's Farm and Garden, proudly supporting the Saskatoon SPCA wish list all year long.
When we come back, recognizing the heroic efforts of those who fought Saskatchewan's wildfires this season. And later, the sweet exchange that could be a record maker.
Yes, we are back at the BHP Enchanted Forest. The cars and vehicles are moving in. Oh, look, I've got guests. But before we talk to our guests, we're going to talk about the rural forecast. Is that okay with you, Dawn?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dawn. Thanks for the permission. Okay, our rural forecast for tomorrow. As you can see, the temperatures are mild. We've got ourselves a chance of some flurries in, let's say, Wynyard and Lloydminster and Kindersley. Otherwise, we're dealing with cloudy conditions with temperatures above seasonal. Hudson Bay, not quite as warm as other places, but down south, look at this. Temperatures in and around that 0-degree mark. Getting on the plus side for Leader and Maple Creek. Again, there's a little bit of scattered flurries here and there, but not adding up to a lot of snow. So all in all, things are looking pretty good. And Borden, we expect a daytime high of -2 degrees. Winds out of the northwest 20, dropping off. And of course, Borden is one of those many places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. Alrighty, well, let's talk a little bit about BHP Enchanted Forest. Leslie is with us today from BHP. She is the marketing director. I'm so cold I can't even. The brain is frozen. And so, what does it mean for BHP to be involved in this event?
Well, for BHP is our presenting sponsors, so we're so fortunate and glad that they're back. But of course, the proceeds from the BHP Enchanted Forest go to our two foundations: the Saskatoon Zoo Foundation and the Saskatoon City Hospital Foundation.
Well, I know the Saskatoon City Hospital Foundation is very happy to be involved in this. And Dawn, let's talk a little bit about Dawn Warniak, the executive director for the foundation for the Saskatoon Zoo Foundation. What does it mean to be involved in this winter event?
Well, it's absolutely huge, and it means the world to the zoo. Because of BHP and all of our sponsors, we've been able to do so much within the zoo and just expand it and hopefully build the bears their new home and just work on education and conservation and mental wellness.
Okay. What are the animals that like winter? What are the animals at the zoo that like winter?
You know what? All the animals are way more active when it's cooler out. Okay. How are you when it's hot outside?
Well, you know.
Well, I see how you are when it's cold, but...
Exactly. You know me, Don. I'm out my Speedo hanging out. Yeah. No. Hey, thank you both so much. It is such a pleasure to be here at the BHP Enchanted Forest, getting to see Santa and getting to see all the cars coming through tonight. And as Santa was saying, it goes on for a while. It goes on into January, I believe. So thank you both for being with us today. What is the last date, do you know?
January 4th.
January 4th is when it wraps up. But nightly here at the Saskatoon Zoo and Forestry Farm Park. So thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
All right, Jeff, thanks so much. We'll let you warm up for a few minutes, and if you're up to it, we'll join you at the end of the show. Well, fire departments that battled unprecedented summer wildfires have received special recognition at the Legislative Building. Close to 50 services from across Saskatchewan and Manitoba were awarded the Premier's Commendation. Wayne Mantika reports.
Hundreds of firefighters from across Saskatchewan and parts of Manitoba answered the call to protect lives and property as wildfires rage through Saskatchewan's north. Many say they have never experienced anything like it.
It was a little more intense than we had seen. We don't have that kind of forest around home, so it was definitely a little different, but definitely an experience, to say the least.
Nearly 50 fire departments that took part in the forest fire effort were awarded the Premier's Commendation at the Legislature.
To recognize people that had stepped up in the face of adversity, danger, stepped up with great courage to help other Saskatchewan residents.
Many of the fire departments recognized are comprised of volunteers who were dispatched to where help was needed most.
We were initially actually dispatched to Pelican Narrows, and when we arrived, we were redirected to the town of Creighton. At that time, Denary Beach was actually on fire.
The firefighters appreciated the recognition.
It's fantastic. It's so nice to see the Premier come and really talk about everything that happened, and to thank everybody individually on behalf of their fire department for helping. And I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better.
The NDP believe the government must be better prepared for future fire seasons. It has introduced legislation calling for a strategy to avoid wildfires. The government says a strategy already exists. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is $1.21.9 a liter. The lowest price in town is $1.09.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco jumped $1.42 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $83.78. Coming up, when fishing becomes a festive time of the year. Then counting cookies, the record this group is hoping to set.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with Shifting Gears. Well, Jeff, I know you've got some company that you're going to check in a couple of minutes, but we're going to take you to a warmer climate. Yes. These fishers in Peru are getting into the Christmas spirit. They dressed as Santa Claus and took to the waters in traditional reed boats to kick off their town's festive season. These reed boats are ancient watercraft used by fishers along Peru's northern coast for generations. They also gave passengers rides through the Pacific waves. And cookie lovers in Pittsburgh are hoping they have made history. Members of a social media community have gathered to try and break the world record for the largest Christmas cookie exchange. 33 teams of 10 people came out for the exchange. Organizers say there were at least 80,000 cookies at the exchange. Right now, they're hoping to establish a record because there wasn't a specific one to break, but they are still waiting on the largest Christmas cookie exchange to be made official. Jeff, there is no shortage of friends for you tonight at BHP's Enchanted Forest.
I know. I'm very lucky indeed. Olaf and Anna are here, and Ilsa, and we are very happy to have them here. They're going to be here tonight along with, you know what? They've got glow sticks that the fine folks at BHP are handing us. So if you're out here tonight and until they run out, they've got glow sticks. They're more than glow sticks. How would you describe them?
Very fun.
Oh, they're very fun. Okay. It's like they're illuminated sticks that then blink on and off. But let's take a look at what's going on tomorrow. -2 degrees pretty much right across the board. So things are going to warm up. It's going to stay mild. So it's going to be a pretty nice day tomorrow. So a pretty nice day, but a great night to come out here and enjoy the BHP Enchanted Forest. So thank you. Thank you for letting me freeze out here.
Okay, well, you can come back inside now, I guess. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Okay, thanks.